A lot of people tell you to go solo travel, go do this, go do that, but there isn't really a guide on how to solo travel, especially for young men out there in the 20s and 30s like me. And so I wanted to make this guide, complete beginner's guide, and my first ever guide on how to do this in 6 easy steps. Basically, the first will be introducing myself, why you should listen to me. After all, I'm just a stranger on the internet. The second is the mindset. I recommend don't skip this section. I'll have some timestamps in the sections or this video below, but don't skip this mindset section. It's really important. We have the budget. We need money, money, money. Planning. It doesn't have to be so rigid, but we need a sense of planning to get this trip good and done for. Making friends. You can skip this section if you want to travel solely alone, but I recommend to still follow through with this to understand how to make friends on your solo trip. And we have, last but not least, safety and how to truly enjoy the trip. A bit more on the mindset and a bit more on my anecdotes. So let's get straight into it. So we have a bit of an intro and why you should listen to me. So we have from 2024 to 2026, I traveled 10 countries in 41 days. So I have some of the flags here. I traveled Hungary, Spain, Japan, Turkey, Czech Republic or Prague, Germany, Austria. I think this one's Poland. I don't know, this one's Indonesia, Bali, Poland, and South Korea. And this is coming from, a 24-year-old guy in Australia with not really many special talents and who's more ambiverted, leaning more introverted. So you don't really have to be a special type of person to solo travel. So don't listen to those who say, oh, I need to be X to solo travel, I need to be Y to solo travel. You don't need to be. You need to have, some sense of income, but you can still budget travel. But I'll get into the mindset of that a bit later. And let's get into the next section and why you should listen to me. I've made every mistake you could ever think of. I've been pretty alone during my trip. I've overpacked, I've overplanned. I've made every single mistake you can think of, and that's why I feel like this is good for a lot of beginners who want to relate to someone who is not so experienced, but who isn't like really inexperienced. So, I've been through these moments where I've had aha moments. I've made stupid, sloppy mistakes. I've had some, high stake mistakes. I made all the mistakes you could think of, and I've had to learn it the hard way. So this is advice that I wish my younger self would have learned. And this is advice I want to give for free on YouTube, so you guys can learn from me. And a bit of a transformation on myself here. I went through a bit of a transformation, me as a little nerdy kid. I'm still a bit of a nerd. This is a bit of a photo when I was at a hostel in Prague. It was a 10-bedroom hostel. I was so fucking wrecked, so that's why I looked like I was cooked. But yeah, I went through my own personal transformation. I was able to meet a bunch of cool fucking people. This is an image I took in Budapest, Hungary. This is really nice. It was in this kind of church bar. This was a pub crawl crew I met. These people I met at a hostel in Spain. This girl was from America. This guy was actually from France. These guys I met in Bali. Fucking Bali was such an amazing time. We were at another hostel, but this is really cool. This again was from Budapest. Just me playing my goddamn soccer game here. And this one was from Spain. I was hanging out with these cool guys from New Zealand. So yeah, hopefully this is good enough for you guys. So yeah, this is a description on why you should listen to me after solo traveling myself. And let's get straight into this mindset you need to solo travel properly. So the first thing I want you to get your head around is the idea of low expectations. Don't make your expectations here. Make your expectations here. That should be low, ready to go. Not every day will be magic. This is your first ever solo trip. You got to keep that in mind. So don't expect everything to be sunshine and rainbows. You'll have like high periods, low periods. It's like a parabola. Like if I had to graph it, it's like this. It's like waves. It's like waves. And I want you to embody that kind of chill guy personality. Just kind of be open to stuff. Don't expect everything to be sunshine and rainbows. Expect things maybe to be shit sometimes, but also have a positive mindset. If you know the philosophy of this is a cup, this is water. You should see things as like half full rather than half empty. And the reason is for this is because optimism, having a more positive outlook in life will give you positive moments. If you think things more negatively, it'll reflect in the world. You'll think more negatively, you have more negative moments. So be that half full rather than a half empty type of guy. And yeah, keep low expectations. Next thing I want you to embody is loneliness, as I mentioned. You'll be this doomer for a while. It's gonna hit. You gotta just ride it out, name it. And you'll actually notice that after you have these lonely periods, you kind of have breakthroughs. You'll kind of be like this. This is quite literally me. I was kind of crying tears of joy. I was going through this lonely stint in Japan, which I went for 10 days. I was really lonely for that period. And through that, I understood that I need to push myself to go out there and talk to people. I was able to make some really cool friends, and I was just crying tears of joy, just reflecting on like where I made it to and how I was able to, have a really cool nightlife experience or nightclub experience the day before I left Japan. So yeah, it'll hit, experience it. I don't want to bullshit here. Solo travel isn't sunshine and rainbows, but it's also not as grim and dark as it has to be. So have that balance, understand it'll be lonely, and ride it. Let these emotions, these thoughts relish, give them the space to breathe. Don't just suppress them. And on a more positive note, I want to talk to you guys about doing it scared. Like we see this little SpongeBob thing, SpongeBob and Patrick. SpongeBob and Patrick are quite scared here, but you just gotta keep going for it. And even if you're scared to go on a solo trip, I still want you to book it because think about what you experience on the other side of fear. It's always something better. Like think about going on a roller coaster. At first, you're like shitting yourself, scared to go, but afterwards, you kind of have this David Goggins mindset. You're like, fucking hell, I just made it. Fucking let's go, boys. We grinding that shit out. So yeah, think of it as personal development. Be okay with being scared. It's normal. Even if I solo travel today, I'll still feel some of the nerves. It doesn't go away, but it's something you just have to go through and experience and do it scared anyways. Fear is not a sign that you should stop. It's just a natural human instinct because you're going into an uncomfortable, kind of unnatural environment. But that's where you grow as a man. And last but definitely not least, I like to call this analogy the be like water analogy from my boy Bruce Lee and this little monkey here with the cassette tape. But I want you to be fluid, flow. I want you to flow, flow like this, flow like water. Whatever circumstances will fucking hit, like boom, 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 boom. Circumstances will just come and go. So maybe one point you really wanted to go to this event, but it gets cancelled all of a sudden during your trip, and you're like, fuck. Okay, what do I do now? Be like water, flow into it. Don't be so rigid that you have high expectations and it causes you to fuck up the trip and be in this negative spiral and loop. Just be like water, flow through whatever circumstances happen, and you'll understand or you'll experience this yourself. The spontaneous moments where you just like, fuck it, I'm gonna let life ride the wave. It'll give you the most memorable experiences of your life. So yeah, make sure to embody each of these, lower your expectations, experience the loneliness and, embrace it. It comes and goes. Do it scared and be like water. If you embody these, it'll give a amazing first trip. And yeah, that's the mindset I wish my younger self had had, and I'm glad to be sharing to you guys now. And next section over here is the budget. This is pretty fucking important. And I want you, for a first timer, to kind of look into the proximity of where you're currently at. I'll give an example right now. I'm in Australia, and the most neighboring countries for us is Southeast Asia, or like more Asian countries. So we had places like Bali, Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia, South Korea. Those are more cheaper for us and generally better places because, if I go to Europe, it's going to cost me like 4 grand for a ticket, and this is way too much. And I want to give a bit of a bonus section here for personality types. I'll get into the accommodation in a bit, but if you're a total introvert where basically your energy goes down, your energy goes down when you talk to people, stay in places like Japan, Iceland, Switzerland, Finland, New Zealand, and mainly stay in hotels. This is for the total introverts who want to experience solo travels completely alone. I want you to go to Japan if you really want a introverted place or a place that you can relax. There's a lot of nature, there's a lot of city stuff. Shibuya in Tokyo is quite overwhelming, but once you get over that hurdle, this is a perfect place if you want to be alone, by yourself, not distracted by people. You're like, okay, I need my own alone time. This is perfect for you. And if you're more like me, more of ambivert, more of extrovert, you're more of that happy-go-lucky golden retriever type, I want you to look into these places. So we have Thailand, Spain, Budapest, Bali, Brazil, Colombia, Vietnam, anywhere in Southeast Asia, anywhere in South America. And I want you to stay in hostels. And if I had to give a recommendation, I'd probably say Bali if you're in Australia. And I know there's a lot of flack people say about Bali. It's like, oh, bro, it's full of drunk Australians, blah, blah, blah. Like, oh, it's not safe, you'll get kidnapped. And the first half is true. There are quite a lot of drunk Australians. It's probably me being a fucking idiot there. But there is so much stuff you can do there. There's a lot of, if you go to a place called Ubud, it's more of the monkey village calm meditation retreats you can go to. You can go on a beach, fucking relax, ride on your goddamn little scooter bike, go quad biking. There is so much you can do, and it's really cheap as well. Like, I'll go into the budget cost a bit, and I'll use Bali an example, but I think plane tickets are only like 500. Maybe you can get it for cheaper, 400 return flight. Food there is probably like 20 bucks per day. You can last fucking ages. So if you're going for 10 days in Bali, a grand will probably last you. And for those of you who are a bit more, don't have the budget for that, a grand might sound like a lot, but Bali, you can probably make it through like 800 if you're saving up, you know. But it should be good. Bali is a good place for a first timer. And let's get straight into hostel versus hotel tips. And I'll give a hostel website in a bit. I'll search it up on this website and explain how to book a hostel that's social. If you're a introvert, go for a hotel. This is really relaxing and nice for you. But for all those people who want to socialize a bit or want to talk to people who are more extroverted, I'll give you a bit of a little demo here on how to book these hostels. I want you to use a website called Hostel World. I've done it here myself, but use this website called Hostel World. We're gonna say, for example, we're gonna go in Bali. Let's say we go for 10 nights in December. Let's say we go from the 10th to the 20th. And we're going to go to Bali. Let me get this up. So we go to Bali. We're going to filter based on highly rated hostels. I'm going to change it here because a lot of these are shit, which means it's not searching up the right place. I'm going to search up Canggu. And for those of you who don't know, Canggu is basically the city party capital of Bali, and it's Indonesia. So I want you to like look through these and look through the pricing. Let's say we can only spend like 20 bucks on dorms. It's like, oh, this is pretty good. Dorm here is like $11, 9.6 star reviews, not too far from the city capital. We have elsewhere, and I'm gonna put these on open tabs. I'm gonna be biased here, and we're gonna use Lushi as the main example. So, you know, we go through these. We have it filtered by the stars, which is like 9 to 10 stars is probably the good baseline to go with. Any lower and you might get a bit trashy or might not be the best. And you can also even book private places here. Private rooms in a hostel is best for both worlds. If you're a bit of an ambivert like me, you want a bit of alone time, but you also want to talk to people. But anyways, let's look at these hostels. So we can look through the images here, yada yada yada. This is a good place. 1200 reviews. Read a bit of the reviews here, super social. And I want you to, you know, book a dorm room. So let's say, for example, we go 6-bedroom dorm. It's pretty good, a mixed dorm. It's only 120 bucks for 10 days, which is pretty fucking cool. And we're going to look at the reviews here and take a look at the comments. So we go through here, view our reviews. We say, oh, it's so fun here. You want to look for like fun, friendly, social. You know, just general positive reviews. Best hostel in Canggu, best party hostel, easy to make friends. This is really good to take a look at. But yeah, take a look at something like this. Great fun nights, great fun social hostel, the facilities, the value for money. And yeah, you get through this, you're going to find a hostel in no time that fits your budget. So yeah, let's get back into it. Now, let's get into the money costings. To be honest, here, I can't give you one by one like costings for every single place because that would just take me too long, and you know, it'll be a bit of a complicated task. But in general, let's just use Bali as an example. The return flights are like 600 for 10 nights, and I forgot to add it here, but in terms of how long to go for, I want you to go for 10 to 14 days. That's probably like a good amount. And maximum, no, let me change this here. And maximum, you probably go for 2 weeks to a month. Any longer than a month, it's a bit too much as a first timer because you got to be tending to your budget. Let's say your budget is like $1,000 to $2,000 for 10 days, or like $1,000 for a month or whatever, $2,000 for a month. It's like you got to be careful. You got to be wary of the return costs. So we'll search up. I'll even show it here. So Sydney to Bali, December 2026. So we'll go down here, and you know the costings are around, let's say 600 to be safe, from around like December. So let's say 600 for return flights. My budget is $1,000 for 10 days. So it will cost 600 for 10 days. Hostel is probably like 120, 150 as we found through here. 126. So that's about 700. Food is probably only like $20 a day. That'll be fine. 150. Transport 50. Activities 50. So you probably need about, I'd say, $1,000 if you can make it in Bali for 10 days, or maybe I would say a good estimate if you want to have a bit more room to, you know, not worry too much about the budget, 20% of plus like 100,000, whatever. I can type it here. So let's say like 20% of 1,000. Quick maths. Fuck, I can't maths. I can't maths, but let's say like 1,200 or some shit. I'm Asian, but I can't maths at all. But basically, like, let's say you do 20% of your general like budget. Let's say you save up 1,200, and you know it's not that much. You know, it's not that crazy, and the budget is what you make of it. You know, if you want to spend more, you spend more. If you want to spend less, you spend less. Of course, be frugal about whatever if you need to be. And I don't really have much else to say other than the time period you go to will determine how much it costs. And for first-time travelers, 10 to 14 days is ideal. Maximum 2 weeks to a month. Any further than a month, it's just too much, and you waste your it's just a bit too much in my opinion. Maybe you can do a month longer, but just see how it goes. This is just what I recommend for. Go for this, and you'll be good to go. And yeah, we got into the budget, where we want to go, where we want to sleep, where we want to spend. Let's get into the planning. So, I want you to pack light. You don't need to pack a lot. Like if I want to give you an anecdote here. Let's say this is all my luggage, right? Fucking what? Oh, I can't color in. Let's say this is 100%. 100%. Guess how much I actually use of this 100% of my luggage up to here. Guess how much I actually use? Maybe using 80%, 70%? No, I use probably like 60% max. 60% or maybe even 50%. And in places like Bali, I was probably only using like 30% of it. And that's why I say to you, you don't need to overpack. Pack light. A lot of people do backpacking, and I haven't really done that before, but maybe you can experiment with backpacking, but maybe just bring a light, like a luggage like this. Maybe have like one carry-on, one bring on, one carry-on, and one check-in. One check-in, my bad. No, not bring on. One so in general we should do one carry-on and then one check-in. That's the general amount you should do. And if you really want to pack really light, just do one carry-on. But yeah, one check-in, one carry-on, that should be good. Pack generally half the amount you should pack, and you're good to go. Not much else to say here. And also, actually no, I will say something else. Make sure to also pack like make sure to pack medicals, clothes, of course. I'll get into passport. I was gonna write passport, but I'll get into that a bit. Charging cables, pretty standard stuff. Phones, depending on the area, like maybe like flip flops, fucking cream, you name it. This is all you really need. It's pretty basic. Think about your last camping trip or maybe your last family trip. Just pack whatever you would normally bring there. And maybe like flip-flops if you're going to Bali or anything maybe specific you want to bring. But pack light most of the time. Next thing here. The actual planning of the trip, I want you to ask three main questions, and I want you to keep the idea of it being a skeleton, not a script. I want you to ask yourself, what do you really want to do here? Let's say, for example, in Bali, you really want to go see the beaches. Maybe you should book a place that's more near the beach. Maybe you want to go quad biking. Look up some quad biking places, book that beforehand. Maybe you want to fucking drink your ass off and go to a beach club. Book a place near a beach club. Pretty simple. Think about what you really want to do, what you can't afford to miss out on, and have that as probably like the top 5 things you should do. What are some must-dos you want to do in X place? Let's just use Japan. Like maybe the must-dos in Japan are like the temples in Kyoto, Shibuya Crossing, Don Quixote, going to a ramen store, going to a sushi store, going to Team Labs. There's a bunch. Just search it up, look what the must-dos are, and get that done. And this is really important here. This is not really what a lot of people mention as much. What pockets of times can I put in so that I can be free for relaxing and spontaneity? You don't want a schedule where this is like fucking going full on, like full on, like you're going like a fucking race car like that. You want to have times where, let's say for example, you're planning like this is like 50%, and the 50% here is your free time. This is your free time here, and this is your plan time. This is just a rough estimate. You don't have to follow it for sure, but make sure to always give more time to yourself and to do whatever you want than to planning it. Because if you over plan it, it will just cause fucking issues to begin with. Here I just even ChatGPT if you want. You can just say, for example, give me a rough itinerary for 10 days, little bro, and ChatGPT will give you something. But you can always just honestly wing it if you want, but have a bit of prep beforehand. And have this little skeleton here with a fucking apple. Next things next. Don't overplan. I said this a bit before, but don't overplan. It's always better to be there than have a perfect plan. Because if you have a perfect plan, you don't have time to rest. And when you have time to rest, you'll be like this little dog in the fire. You'll be like, it's fine in your head, but you'll feel fucking burnt out. You'll feel burnt out. Kind of a bit of like hopeless. You'll have a negative outlook, and yeah, just don't do it. Keep it simple, keep it straightforward, focus on these 3 questions here, and yeah, plan your trip around that and have some time to fuck around. And we have here passports, visas. Get these things sorted. Get your passport, make sure it's up to date, otherwise you won't be able to get on that plane to go there. And any visa details you need, for example, if you're going to Vietnam, you may need to buy like a 21-day visa, or if you're going to Bali, you may need a visa beforehand. This is all admin stuff. Get it sorted beforehand. This is really important. Don't miss out on this. If you miss out on this, you won't go there. So yeah, all the admin stuff I'll leave up to you guys, because I don't know where you're going. But if you're going to Japan, you don't need a visa, from what I remember. If you're going to Bali, you'll need one. And just pay that shit up front. And I also really forgot, but make sure to buy health insurance. Please, buy it. It is really important. Imagine you get like into an accident there and you don't have any insurance. Like, you'll basically be cooked. So get that shit. Get health insurance. Deal with all the admin stuff beforehand. And yeah, don't over plan everything. Pack light. And make a skeleton, not a script. And let's get into the fun part. I like this part. How to make friends. And if you're more introverted, you can skip this part. But for all the G's who want to make friends, stay here. So, as I showed before with this hostel world stuff, I can probably close it now. You want to take a look at the images. I'll use Lucy here. I was gonna go here, but let's take a look at Lucy. Like, oh, this is like everyone's really fucking social here. Look how many people there are. There's a diversity of people, not just goddamn Caucasian guys, Caucasian chicks, but there's a wide variety of people, and this is good to look at. And you're like, oh, okay, everyone looks really friendly here. Everyone's fucking drinking this from this bottle, and take a look at the activities. So, for example, what events they have: beer pong tournament. That was really fucking fun. Bingo, pub crawl, I don't know what this is. Tournament, camps tournament, free shots, boat party. This is like, oh, this is looking good. And like, it's only like 15 bucks basically for a 8 bedroom dorm. So 158 bucks is maybe it's a bit too much, but it should be a good amount. And yeah, we look at the comments here. Everything's really friendly, but I'm not going to repeat that point. I'm going to close this now. So in the hostels, once you check in, I want you to go to the normal lobby areas. Look for, just talk to people around you, people just chilling here. Maybe these guys you can talk to, maybe these guys you can talk to. People who are just chilling, take the initiative to say hello and know that everyone's really friendly. I'm going to get into the 3 second rule later, but just know that hostels are friendly. Everyone wants to make friends. There's going to be a lot of people that solo travel there, so don't be afraid. And I forgot to reiterate this point, but make sure to book dorms. Because say, for example, you don't have the opportunity to talk to people because it's really late. You can get a dorm, you'll sleep it out, and you'll be able to talk to your roommates in the morning. So you'll be fine with that because you have a backup. You can talk to people in your dorms, then the night after, you can talk to people in the main lobby area. So yeah, that's a win-win for you. Now, if you want to make more friends, or maybe for some reason your hostel isn't the best, think about some free walking tours or some free day trips. Like for example, in Spain, there were opportunities to go on a walking tour. You can meet people if you're more into hiking. And if you really want to go up a mountain, there's like more paid activities you can do where you're hiking up like a goddamn mountain. There's probably tours for that, definitely where you go, or just some kind of tour that's free. This is pretty simple, straightforward. Apps you can use are Klook. So I used app Klook for my Japanese matcha workshop. This is actually what got me to be able to make friends. I was really lonely during this period in Kyoto, and I was able to make friends because I went to this workshop. And there's a lot of different activities here you can use on Klook. And if you don't really want to look into that, you can use this app called TripBFF. I've actually messaged some people here and there. I didn't really meet up with them one-on-one, but just have this as a nice backup. It'll be pretty easy for you to talk to friends. And yeah, TripBFF, Klook, walking tours, good to go. And let's get into social confidence. So the first hello is always the hardest. And for us arriving in a country, maybe like this is like the top, right? This is our 400% health bar. Maybe when we arrive there we'll only be this amount, right? But if we're only 50%, let's say we're 50%, take the initiative here to say hello. Like maybe each time you go or talk to someone it's like -5%, -5%, -5% each time you talk to a person. That's my 5%, -5%. Just make sure to always, on your first day, try to make friends with people as fast as you can. It'll set you up for success. Even talk to people in the dorms that you book, but just know that you gotta follow the 3-2-1 rule. So let's draw out something as a scenario. Let's just say this is me, and these two people are talking. So you have these two. Just gonna blah 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 blah. I want you to count to 3. 3, 2, 1, go. Don't hesitate. The more you hesitate, the more it'll fuck up your head. Go there, just even fucking stammer your words. When I did this, I was stammering my words. I was like, "Oh, hey guys, do you guys mind if I come in and join?" And these two guys, like this one guy from France, this one guy from Belgium, they're like, "Oh, bro, no worries, man. Like, how you doing?" They're really friendly, so don't be afraid to go for this 3-2-1 3 second rule. Say hello, and you'll make some friends. Simple as that. And especially in hostels, everyone's really friendly, so don't worry about that. And just know that just like these XP bars here, or these health bars, social skills is also just another XP bar or like experience or skill that you're gonna learn. You might be a bit rusty because you haven't talked to anyone when you land in that new country, but just know that each time you talk to someone, it's like +1 XP, +2 XP. You talk to a group, 5 XP. So just think of that in a more game concept and take the confidence to do 3-2-1 go, say hello, and you'll be fine. If you have all these combined, a bit of social confidence, a bit of the apps, a bit of the tours, and booking hostels, there is absolutely no way you can make friends unless it's like fucking wartime or some shit. But these 4 will guarantee you that you'll be able to meet friends pretty simply. And I want you guys to end off, or I want this to end off with a safety message and also more tips on how to enjoy the trip. So, some of the safety issues involve, say, for example, in Europe, there'll be more pickpocketing concerns. So, make sure to always have your shit in your pocket and make sure to be wary a bit. Use your common sense of whether people are a bit sus. There is some concerns of alcohol poisoning in Bali. So, if I search it up here, alcohol poison, there are some news articles on it, like some ideas of methanol poisoning, and I want you to be a bit wary of that and only drink alcohol in more like reputable places, not places which is really cheap or really dingy. So this is also like, for example, just using your common sense, use your brain, use your brain. Think if it feels like a flight or fight reaction, then don't do it. And a bit of an extra note here for people who go to Bali after this. Make sure to use this pill called Travelen. This will ensure that you have a lower risk of diarrhea. You basically drink the pill before you eat something, and it basically cuts down the possibility you get of diarrhea. I still got a bit of diarrhea because I was a bit of an idiot and was drinking items that had ice in it, so don't do that. And for Bali, some precautions are don't drink any ice water, no fruits because they wash it in water, and stick to bottled water. And when you shower, don't gulp the water in like a fucking idiot. Like, don't gulp it in. There's still fucking water, It's pretty simple. So that's more of the safety issues, and I don't want you to overthink this. Have it in your mind, but don't let it control your trip because you'll be more paranoid and you won't go. So just keep it a bit in your head, use a bit of common sense, and you'll be fine. Don't let people say that solo travel is really dangerous. It's just because people are just sometimes idiots and get drunk and all that. But if you see something dingy or sus, just don't go for it. Pretty simple. And this will be a minor point I'll make, but when you feel boredom, I want you, similar to when you feel lonely, to just sit with it and then move. You'll realize when you're bored or lonely, quite similar, you'll have these thoughts in your brain where your heart or your soul is kind of telling you to do something. For example, when I was quite bored or quite lonely, it told me to talk to people. And when I did that, I felt fulfilled. So just notice these thoughts, be like this monkey, let it all in, and see what your thoughts say. Oh, this is something I really want, and this is something I don't really hear a lot of travelers talk about. I call it the fuck it moments. Think about this little space guy here. He's like, you know what, fuck it, we bored. We're gonna jump out of this fucking. We're gonna go to space, kind of shit. And it's basically these moments where you're like, shit. Should I say yes? Ah, shit. Should I say no? You're kind of overthinking. You're like, fuck, what should I do? I want you to always say yes. Because these moments, I'll give you examples of my moments. These moments are moments you'll remember for life. For example, I went to a bar called Kit Kat Club, or it was a club in Germany. Don't search it up; it's a bit crazy, but it was just a club that served chocolate, right? Chocolate. The next thing I really liked was doing Montserrat. I have this image here. I'm gonna go back to, yeah, I'm gonna copy and paste this. So I have this image here of me actually in Montserrat with these people. So this little Montserrat thing was quite literally just a fucking moment because I just met these two people and I was like, you know what, fuck it, let's enjoy it. And that was actually my first ever mountain hike, and I did it on the back of a goddamn 4 a.m. nightclub experience in this club called Razzmatazz in Spain. God damn it. Razzmatazz in Spain. So imagine 4 a.m. You stay up 4 a.m. and then afterwards you go on a hike at like 10 a.m. That's actually my fuck it moment. So always say yes. This is memories I'm able to tell you guys, and memories I was able to tell my friends and my family. They thought I was a bit crazy, but always take notice of these fuck it moments and always say yes. They will be the best stories you will have for life. Next things next, similar to the fucking moments, just say yes more. There's this movie from Jim Carrey called Yes Man. I haven't watched the movie myself, but I think it's a really interesting movie. Maybe I should watch it after this. But it's basically the premise that he just says yes a lot to his life, and I think his life basically changes. And keep the motion of just saying yes. Of course, be sensible about it. Like this guy, use your fucking common sense. Don't say yes to something sketchy. Just say yes when you feel a bit uncomfortable, but you know that it's not gonna kill you, you know? You're like, you know what, fuck it, let's just do it for the plot. That's something I want to reiterate. When you're saying like, should I do it for the plot? It's always generally yes. That Kit Kat Club moment was for the plot. This hike was up the plot. This hike was for the plot. This club was for the plot. These friends I met was for the plot. So yeah, do it for the plot. Say yes. And last but not least, this is more philosophical, but you'll be able to understand your authentic self through solo travel. And there's a side to you which you wouldn't be there's a side to you which you wouldn't know much until you solo travel, because a lot of the times we're conditioned by society to act in a certain way. And when, for example, I solo travel, I knew that I was more social, I was more confident, I wasn't that shy kid anymore, as you guys saw from the transformation, and I was able to make a bunch of cool friends. And you kind of ask yourself subconsciously, like, who am I? Am I more of this free-flowing social guy? Am I maybe a bit more selfish than I appear to be? You know, you'll be able to experience this and know this because you're by yourself with your own thoughts, doing whatever the fuck you want. So yeah, always enjoy this part of solo travel. This was actually where people say, this is where you find yourself. People will say like finding yourself, but this is actually where I kind of argue that you kind of know more about yourself. It won't fix your life. Solo travel won't fix your life, but it'll allow you to see a side to yourself you wouldn't normally see. And yeah, enjoy Japan as well if you go there. We have these little futuristic stuff. But I hope y'all enjoyed this. This is a really fun video to make. But if you guys put all of these into practice, the intro, you know, why you should listen to me, the mindset you need behind it, the budget, the planning, how to make friends, and some safety concerns and enjoying it. This should be all you need, and after this video, I'll know that you'll be ready to go on that solo trip for the first time. Enjoy it with the boys, enjoy your 20s, and yeah, sayonara.